Hi guys, it's Kelly and I'm back with another video. Today's video is featuring the Mondo Amaryllis from Ellen Hudson. I'm using the stamps and the dies. I'm going to be doing, kind of creating my own flower box here in the background with a T-square ruler, and then just doing some distress ink and some Copa coloring. Honestly, there's going to be minimal conversation about the card. It's really going to be more like a watch and listen because we are having a conversation about something completely different. So if you have been on Facebook or Instagram, then you probably already know that Eric and I got engaged over this past weekend. And so I know most of you guys are dying to know the story. And so I've held him hostage, basically, and made him tell the story with me. Say hi.
Hi. Hostage is a true fact.
So this isn't a particularly long video of mine. It's about 20-ish minutes, so we'll try to fit the whole thing in there. So from my point of view, Eric was supposed to work on Friday, and I had my little mini meltdown that we talked about like 2 videos ago, the weekend prior. And so on Monday, I think, he was like, hey, why don't I take off on Friday, and then we can spend the night, like me, you, and Peanut, and we'll go out and do something fun. And so I worked day shift that week, and day shift and me are just not friends. Like, we just don't get along, and by the time the end of the week comes, I'm exhausted. So Friday rolls around, he's like, you have to be ready by 5:30. I had taken Nathan for a haircut the week before, and something weird was happening where he was growing like wings on the side of his head. Like as his hair was growing in, it looked very winged. I don't know. So I was trying to take him, like rushing over to take him to the girl who cuts our hair so that I could get his wings fixed. And this was cutting me a little bit short on time. Not to mention that I didn't sleep well the night before because Thursday nights are Nathan's special night in bed with Mama. So he basically just kicks me all night long and I don't get great sleep. So come Friday, I'm exhausted, straight up, I don't even want to go. That's where I'm living at. He's like, you have to be ready by 5:30, and I'm like, did I not just tell you about how I'm completely overwhelmed and I don't want any more deadlines because I don't want anything else expected of me, and now here we are and you are expecting things from me. So traffic was awful. I was running late getting Peanut to his little haircut. And then so I was supposed to be back by the house at 5:30 so that we could leave. I was not back until 5:45. I was about 15 minutes late. And so I'm totally stressed out because I'm running late, and I get back to the house and Eric's like, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. Like just go upstairs and change. And since I am rushing, I leave my work pants on, like they're just black pants, leave them on, change into like this oversized comfy white shirt and a sweater. And I am slightly suspicious because he has on a button down and he never wears button downs. So I'm like, why is he so dressed up? Why is this fancy? And so I want him to tell you how he got to there.
Well, I took the day off, and I came over here and took care of the dogs and cleaned the house, and then I made dinner reservations at a place that we have gone to dinner a couple times. I think we celebrated an anniversary there once too.
That was our first date.
Yeah, and an anniversary at one point.
Yeah.
So I am busting butt to get back over here on time because I was running late, but not as late as you. And we're very different people when it comes to punctuality. Like if somebody says 5:30, I'm there 5:25. I ain't mad she wasn't there at 5:30 because when I was pulling into the development, I saw her pulling out, and I called the restaurant and I was like, listen, gotta bump back our reservations. And they were like, we're pretty full tonight. And the poor girl's on the phone. I was like, you don't understand. I'm about to ask this girl to marry me after dinner, so find us a table. And she was very sweet, and she did. So then I came here, and while you were getting Peanut's hair, wings thingy clipped, fixed, whatever you want to call it, his wings clipped. I was pacing back and forth in your kitchen.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
So, I
Your
get,
kitchen? Our kitchen? I don't know. That's still weird.
yeah, our kitchen.
Sure.
Um, so then, while I'm upstairs getting dressed, he tells me that he's going to take the car seat out of my car and put it in the truck, and that he's going to take Peanut with him. So, at what point did you have the conversation with Nathan?
Putting the car seat in the back of the truck. So Nathan likes to start the truck or any car. So I told him it was cold outside. So I was like, buddy, you can start the car and then sit in the front seat while Eric puts your car seat in the back. And so he did, and he was sitting there. And I said, can you listen while you sit there? And he said, yeah. Um, am I supposed to tell them what I talked to Nathan about?
No, it's up to you.
Long story short, basically, I asked Nathan if he remembered our conversations about what marriage was and what marriage meant and how two people who love each other a whole lot get married. And he said yes. And so I asked him if he thought it would be okay if I asked his mommy to marry me and if I was a part of his life forever as well as his mom's life forever. And in typical Nathan fashion, he looked at me and said, I mean, I guess so. Um, so I was like, I guess so was good enough for me from a 6-year-old. And then I showed him the ring and I explained to him it was a secret between me and him. We're very careful about the way we use the phrase secret with Nathan. He's not supposed to keep secrets from people. But I told him this would be a short secret, a one-time thing, and that we would tell mommy the secret before the night was over.
So then we leave, we go to the restaurant, dinner was pretty relatively uneventful.
Yes.
Um,
There was the time where you went to go do something. I think you went to the bathroom. And because he's 6, he didn't understand a proposal versus a marriage. And when you went to the bathroom, he looked at me and said, so when are we doing this wedding thing? And the people at the table next to me were like, are you getting married tonight?
So then so we had dinner, which was wonderful. And then after dinner, he said we have another stop to make. So we got back in the truck and then, the county where we live at puts on this super elaborate, like Christmas decor, except for because it's super elaborate and really pretty, there's like next to no parking in that area. So we're driving around this Christmas tree light display, trying to find a parking spot.
Well, hang on. Part of that was because I love my mother, but like I had to find my mama somewhere in there because let's just say like being any kind of undercover work is not my mother's forte. So I had to make sure she knew we were actually there.
I'm shocked by this news that being undercover is not your mom's forte. So then we finally park. He asked Nathan to put on his hat and gloves and then asked me if I wanted to go on an adventure, which you have asked me before, and it was on our first date for my birthday, and we went and played putt-putt.
See, I'm full of adventures.
Look at you.
Welcome to the rest of your life of adventures.
Well, so far they've been really good ones. Just don't come with no bad adventures.
Don't hold me to such high standard.
So then we got out of the car and we walked through the light display, and they have like a gazebo with a huge Christmas tree in it, and walked around the Christmas tree. And then I wanted to but I obviously had no idea what was going on, and I wanted to take a picture of Peanut, so I had him stand in front of the tree so I could take a picture. And then we're standing there, and the real show starts, the whole purpose. So you talked to Nathan.
Yeah, I squatted down in front of Nathan.
Note the word squatted.
Very important. I squatted down in front of Nathan and, asked him again. I said, hey, you remember the conversation we had earlier? And he said, yes. One of the things, it was important to me that Nathan was there. So that's part of the reason why I picked the night I did. And so I wear a chain every day, whether I'm at work or home or whatever, that has a cross on it and an Italian horn, because that's a very large part of my heritage and my family is important to me. But Nathan's dad is also Italian, so I squatted down in front of Nathan and had a conversation with him about heritage and reminded him that he's Italian because his dad's Italian, and I'm Italian, and it's something we all have in common. And so I asked him if it was okay um, if I asked his mom to marry me again, and he said yes, within earshot of Kelly, which was all good. She heard the whole conversation. And then I gave Nathan a Italian horn necklace that looks just like the one I wear every day.
So obviously, once this conversation with Peanut starts, I am like hip to what's afoot here, and so then Eric stands back up to talk to me.
And it all goes downhill.
And things get interesting. So he stands back up to talk to me, and he starts this speech, which apparently he'd been practicing for like 2 days. And he tells me, like, I've known it was you for a really long time, and I've, been in love with you, and I love your son. And right around this time, now the whole time that that's being said, I am aware of a clicking, like a camera clicking. But right about this point in the proposal, his mama, his mother says, "Did she say yes?"
Says is an understatement. She screamed for everybody at the square to hear in a very high pitch. Did she say yes?
Did she say yes? And Eric says, "I don't know. I haven't asked her yet." And his mom's like, "But no, really." And he's like, "But no, really, I haven't asked her yet." So, and like I can hear the tone change in his voice, and I'm like, "But no, Lori, but really, he hasn't asked me yet." He hasn't done it.
For the record, my mother was the backup photographer. I have a really good friend who's a photographer on the side. It's a hobby, and he was gonna do it, but he had family stuff going on, and so I was like, "Mom, it's you. Zoom with your feet, not with the actual camera."
That didn't happen either. So now he's like completely thrown off of his game. He tries to start over from the beginning of the speech, and then what was going on there?
Nothing was coming out of my mouth. I was pretty much looking at you with an open mouth and no words coming out, and the few words that were coming out were making no sense. The only thing I remembered from the 2 days, because like you propose to somebody like Kelly, it's not like an everyday thing, right? Like, sorry guys, you're never gonna find your own Kelly. The only thing I forced myself to remember that I could come up with remembering was that Nathan had been alive for 2,403 days, because I wanted to tell her I know I haven't been there for that, but I love him like I have, and I want to be there for 10 times that in the future. So I'm looking at her after my mother interrupted me, and the only thing that comes out of my mouth is 2,403 days, and then I'm just staring at her.
No, you told me that I was beautiful and smart.
I don't remember most of what I said at this point. It was just a lot of anger in my head.
And so then eventually he just cuts himself off, gets down on one knee, and says, "Will you marry me?" At which point I obviously said yes, or we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. Do you survive a no proposal? Do you think relationships survive a no proposal?
Probably
I don't think
not.
they don't. Yeah, I don't think. I think at that point you just cut your losses and move on. So then, like, kisses, happy, hugging, all that stuff.
I tell my mother, like, hey, she actually finally did say yes. That part occurred now, Mom. Thank you.
And I felt so bad for both of them because, like, I know he went to all this trouble planning all of this thing, and, like, it's the only proposal he's ever going to have. And then, but I also know as, like, a mom, she's devastated. Like, she's completely crushed.
Yeah, I felt bad for my mom.
Yeah, that she interrupted. And, like, for me, I'm like, it's fine. Like, we have a unique proposal story. It's funny. I mean,
it is baptism by fire. Welcome to my family.
Yeah, I mean, I know your intention was not for it to be funny, but it is funny.
Take what you can get.
And so then after we, like, she was like, "Okay, like, I'm off. See you later." And I was like, "Did you drive all the way out here to take these pictures?" And she was like, "Yeah, pretty much." So she did do good on that part.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we stopped for coffee because you love me and you know me. And I needed the coffee, and also probably your mom needed time to get ahead of us.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I was like, we were in the car on the way from Duncan on the way back home, and I was like, I need to call my mama. And he was like, you can call her when you get home. And then, so when we got back to home, our whole families were here. Do you hear Emma? She's snoring.
She's snoring.
It's like so guttural.
I don't know.
So we opted to leave Emma in the room while we were doing this because she's slowly but surely destroying everything in the house.
Completely untrustworthy.
Yeah, she gets into everything. She's super mischievous. You can't trust her at all. So anywho, so we get back to the house. Our whole family's here. His brother, parents, my sisters, my mom and dad, my grandmother, which was awesome to be able to, kind of like mini celebrate with them. They got us cake.
Yeah, you asked what would happen if it was a no proposal. Like, I guess you're right. It's our house. I would have been like, hey, still staying here. Own half of it. We'd have just scraped the yes off of the cake. It would have said, she said blank. Congratulations, Eric, Kelly, and Nathan.
So we visited with them for a little while and had cake, and there was the cheese tray. Oh, the Pope. Yeah, I forgot about the Pope. I don't know how I could forget about the Pope since now I own the Pope.
You do own the Pope.
Not the actual Pope. So we we were obviously friends who worked together well before this. And at some point we got on the topic of, what was it?
It was very early on in our relationship, and you had said something about...
I don't even think we were dating yet. I think we were just friends, because I said, like, I want somebody who loves me enough that they don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, they'll show up, like, in the, like, what is his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Pope Francis?
No. The movie with the boombox.
Oh, Breakfast Club.
John Cusack. It's not Breakfast Club. John Cusack. I wanted a John Cusack in outside my window with a boombox playing Peter Gabriel.
Sorry, I was thinking of closing scene of Breakfast Club for some reason.
Yeah, no. And so I was like, I want somebody who loves me like that. And so then as our relationship progressed, he told me, like, he would show up at work with the...
You told me at one point during our relationship, you were like, all you really need is a priest and a boombox, and I'll say yes then and there.
Yes, and then I told you, but that will never happen because you'll never be able to get a priest to come.
And I got a priest to come.
And so he bought a cardboard cutout...
Life size.
...of the Pope and a blow-up boombox, which was in the garage when we got back.
You're welcome.
Now we just own that, and
I've been hiding Pope Francis around the house for her to find.
He's kind of... like, he frightened me the one day because I woke up and Nathan had put him outside my bedroom door, and he did startle me.
Correct. Blame Nathan.
Was that you? I thought it was...
We did it together.
Oh, good. Glad you're in cahoots together. It did startle me. I was slightly frightened by it. And then he was in the bathroom for a while, and I was creeped out by that. Then he was at the foot of the bed, and I was like, I can't sleep with the life-size cutout of the Pope at the foot of the bed.
Best $50 I've spent in a long time.
That's so outrageous. Why did you spend that on that? No.
Because I'm cheaper than you are, but when it comes to some, like, a good joke is worth it. I'll pay for a good joke.
Take the Pope to work. Those boys need the Pope.
Mm-hmm. They need a lot of Jesus, but they're going to ruin him, so.
So then, yeah, that's pretty much it. At some point when we got home, he did tell me that he could not remember any of the things that he said to me, and he said he had it all written down on this little sheet. So we did it wasn't even like a reenactment. He did his real proposal when it was just me and him after the fact. What?
Nobody to scream, did she say yes?
No interruptions. So I did get to hear the entirety of the speech, which was wonderful. And he did a wonderful job with my ring. It is beautiful. Not that that's the part that matters, but since I am going to wear it for the rest of my life, I am grateful that I like it.
Me too.
So yeah, I mean that was pretty much it. Although while we were having that conversation afterward, it did dawn on me that we were going to have to plan a wedding, and then I tried to give it back because wedding planning is nightmarish. Yeah. So we don't have a date set. We don't have anything done. This is like
we got the engagement done. Like, yeah. What more do you guys want?
This is like 3 days new at this point. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to try to get this planned. We are hoping for a short engagement, but we'll have to see what dates venues have and go from there, because we pretty much can't pick a date without picking a place. Because if we pick a date and then the place and they don't have the date, then we're in trouble. So, venue first.
Yeah, no, that's all Chinese to me. Tell me when and where to be.
Nah, fam.
I mean, like, when and where to be for the planning part. I wasn't, like, sticking
Okay.
you with all that, but, like, you know, when I'm supposed to go look at something.
But that used to be a thing. Like, women just plan the whole thing. And
Well, it's you know, not the 80s.
the 80s. You're adorable. They weren't planning the whole thing in the 80s either.
Oh, I don't know.
Anywho. So yeah, that's it. And we're nearly done with the card at this
Without
point.
discussing a single thing about the card.
I know. Yeah. So, but that's okay, because it was just a pretty card to make. And, you know, they should be able to... I left everything in.
I can tell you, since I've watched, I don't know, every single one of her YouTube videos, and no, it's not stalking, I just really like watching her stuff, that I'm sure she could tell you how to color on another one of the videos. Go back and watch one of the old ones.
That's true. I did just do an Amaryllis for Pretty Pink Posh.
Yeah.
Like 2 days, 3
Problem
days
solved.
ago. So, yeah. I'm going to put some rhinestones and some glitter on all the things, because that's how I work. And then that's going to be it. That's going to be the end of the card. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our enjoyed our engagement story. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.